समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या समझ में नहीं आया?
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Nishikant Dubey has had everything it takes to be in the BJP's power clique. RSS background, proven winner with 4 consecutive terms in the Lok Sabha, fierce Hindutva advocate, fiery orator, astute politician, and a big loyalist of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah. He understands the nitty-gritty of policy making and governance much better than most ministers. And he loves to take on the who's who of the opposition camp, from Sonia and Rahul Gandhi to Mahua Moitra. That's his feisty side as a politician. Personally, I also admire him for being a lovely family man. I have seen him sitting on a platform bench at a New Delhi railway station for hours, waiting for his son to return from a school trip. That was way back. Usually, even half of these qualities should catapult a leader into the big league in the BJP. Nishikant Dubey must curse his bad luck. Modi and Shah love his aggression and put him in front in the Lok Sabha and in parliamentary committees whenever the government needs to put the opposition down. But he has not really got what he deserves for his valiant efforts. Maybe a ministerial berth or a big organizational post. Nishikant Dubey's blistering attack on the Supreme Court and Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna, is probably a career-defining moment for him. Especially so because BJP President JP Nadda chose to issue a statement distancing the party from the Godda MP's remarks. Dubey has every reason to be happy about it. Such distancing by the BJP is, more often than not, followed up with rewards. Remember Giriraj Singh's April 2014 remarks asking people to back Modi or go to Pakistan? He was made a Minister of State just a few months later. Giriraj Singh hit the headlines again in 2015 when he asked whether the Congress would have accepted the leadership of Rajiv Gandhi's wife had he married a Nigerian lady and not a white-skinned woman like Sonia Gandhi. Many, including the Nigerian envoy in New Delhi, took exception to this. The BJP distanced itself from Singh again, but a couple of years later, he was elevated as a minister with independent charge. Giriraj Singh, who never stopped with his controversial and communally polarizing remarks, was made a full-fledged cabinet minister in 2019. He continues to make headlines with controversial statements, even though most people may not even remember the name of the Giriraj Singh, the textiles minister. Look at another case of Nitesh Rane, former Union Minister Narayan Rane's legislator's son. In September 2024, Nitesh Rane, a BJP MLA, threatened to enter a mosque and hit Muslims one by one. The BJP distanced itself from him, saying that such remarks have no place in public life. About 3 months later, he was a cabinet minister in the Devendra Fadnavis-led government. There is a long list of BJP leaders who the party distanced itself from after controversial statements, only to reward them later. Nishikant Dubey has finally joined this coveted list. What do you think was Nadda's message to Dubey? Check out Nishikant Dubey's X handle. He has not deleted the ANI video clips in which he is making a no-holds-barred attack on the CJI and the Supreme Court. In fact, hours after Nadda's message, Dubey opened a new front stating that former Chief Election Commissioner S.Y. Qureshi was Muslim Ayukt, not Chunav Ayukt, and Muslim Commissioner, not Election Commissioner. Don't be mistaken, the Godda MP won't do anything against the wishes of the party high command. The message that he got from Nadda's statement was obviously different from what you or I are made of it. A BJP leader attacking the judiciary should not come as a surprise. Remember Arun Jaitley saying that Indian democracy cannot be a tyranny of the unelected. That was after the Supreme Court had struck down the National Judicial Appointments Commission. Many of his colleagues, including then Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad, attacked the Supreme Court over the collegium system. So Nishikant Dubey is only following in the footsteps of his more illustrious party colleagues. Just that he took it a bit too far by holding CJI Khanna responsible for civil wars in the country. There is nothing unique about a powerful, dominant ruling party attacking the judiciary. It's in fact in keeping with the global trend. Look at how the army-backed government in Pakistan is trying to disempower the judiciary. The Pakistani parliament has passed a law that virtually empowers the Prime Minister to select the Chief Justice. And see how the Donald Trump administration has been attacking the judges and the judiciary for thwarting his plans. Check this headline in the Guardian. Trump's defiance of court orders is testing the fences of the rule of law. American publications are full of such headlines. Turkish President Erdogan continues to attack the judiciary even though the latter has been playing along, allegedly enabling him to arrest his political challengers. That is even after he purged, quote unquote, 4,000 judges between 2016 and 2019. In Italy, Prime Minister Meloni has been on a warpath against judges and prosecutors. There is a similar trend in Orban's Hungary, Donald Tusk's Poland, etc. etc. These are all countries ruled by powerful and popular heads of governments who are clear that the political executives must reign supreme, unencumbered by any institution, judiciary or whatever else. The Supreme People's Court of China may be a fine model for them, as it is okay with being subservient to the Communist Party of China. In 2017, the country's top judge, Chief Justice Cho Chiang, I hope I am pronouncing his name right, he warned against judicial independence. Mind you, he warned against judicial independence, asking China's courts to resist Western ideas that threaten the CPC leadership. And I quote him here, "People's courts at all levels must disregard erroneous Western notions, including constitutional democracy and separation of powers," unquote. So basically, China's top court is reconciled to being subservient to the ruling party. Back home, why is Nishikant Dubey so upset with the Supreme Court? Why does he think CJI Sanjeev Khanna is responsible for what he called civil wars? The fact is that Dubey may have his personal opinion about the judiciary, but he is not venting out his individual grouse. Hear him attentively. He is questioning court rulings with long-term implications for the BJP's politics. To start with, Justice Khanna is leading the bench on the Waqf Act that raised some probing questions on many crucial provisions of this law. Last December, a CJI-led bench barred courts across the country from passing any effective orders or surveys against any existing religious structures. Look at the other points of Dubey's criticism. Who is the Supreme Court to set a 3-month time frame for the governor or the President of India to decide on a bill passed by state legislatures? That an overwhelming majority, if not all, of these long pending bills were from non-NDA ruled states is not a coincidence. Well, some may argue that if voters elect a non-NDA party to power, they should not expect their government to perform because the center won't allow it to. That's a cynical stance, of course, but that's pretty much it. One could always question why the president or a governor should have an issue with a time frame to decide on bills. Whether the highest court of the land has the powers to set a time frame for the President of India is a debatable issue. Dubey's other grouse against the Supreme Court is the scrapping of Section 377 of the IPC, which criminalized homosexuality. Even the RSS was in agreement with the court order. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat in fact said that the LGBTQIA plus community was very much a part of society. The issues raised by Nishikant Dubey and the merits of his arguments are not material in the larger context. The fact is that he is only voicing his party's concerns, no matter what Nadda said in his public statement. The opposition sees it as an attempt to browbeat the highest judiciary that has largely ensured institutional checks and balances. One can, of course, always point out that the Congress also does not have a stellar record when it comes to undermining the judiciary. As I said, it's not unusual for a dominant ruling party to wish for a committed judiciary. Nor is this phenomenon limited to India. My lords also need to think about what gives parliamentarians the courage to take them on. Remember the Supreme Court's insistence on making the electoral bonds data public? The court got thumping applause for taking on the government. What happened at the end? Political parties, especially those ruling at the center and in states, had the last laugh. There were so many instances of companies and individuals giving hundreds of crores to political parties and getting favorable treatment later. The Supreme Court could have ordered a court-monitored inquiry into possible quid pro quo for those bonds. The court, however, chose to leave it to public imagination. Look at the way the political executive made a mockery of the SC ruling to make the Election Commission autonomous. It is the Prime Minister who is virtually hand-picking the election commissioners today. The petitions challenging the law that virtually overturned the SC ruling on this have been pending in the Supreme Court in the meantime. There are so many other crucial issues in which the SC has shown no urgency to decide. They are stuck in the familiar tarikh pe tarikh cycle. My lords cannot fault the politicians if those politicians see in such procrastination signs of vacillations, diffidence, and even reluctance to take on the powerful executive. That's all from me in this episode of Politically Correct. Thanks for watching.